question, right? So, what time is this? 11:53. Yeah, I'm not gonna be up here long. Honestly, let me see if I could turn my chat off because I don't even feel like it. I just really so want somebody. Let me turn it off. All right. I just really want your opinion. If you watch this video through on, on the replay, just leave your comments after the video, right? So at my job, we have an intern. The intern just started, and we have like conversation, all of the people in my group who, work the different projects and stuff like that. So this new girl, she's 18 years old. She's freshly graduated from college, from high school. I'm sorry. So she's 18, and I don't know what it is about me, but I had this thing with me, right? I don't know what it is. I'm being very serious. People just like to tell me their business. I don't know why, but they do it, and I try to give advice based on what it is that they tell me. So she said to me, the 18-year-old today, she said to me, she said, "Can I ask you a question?" She was like, "Do you like have any good advice for like relationships?" And I had to think for a minute. I'm like, "Yeah, I can," but because I thought about it, I'm like, "Do I really want to like go there with this person or whatever?" So I was like, "Yeah," I was like, "What's on your mind?" So the girl told me she's 18 years old, right? She just graduated. And I want you to tell me after this video post, get in the comments. I'm not gonna make this video long because I don't want it to be long and drawn out. I want you to be able to just tell me what you feel about the advice that I gave her, right? So she was like, "I'm 18 years old. Her and her boyfriend are both 18. She started dating him in 11th grade. So they've been together just about a year now, right? So after they graduated from high school, she's starting school in September to do, psychology. She wants to she wants to do project management, but she kind of like, trying to get into psychology too. She just kind of confused. She's young, and I told her you'll figure it out, right? Because she's interning at my job and just like kind of like seeing what we do on projects day on a day-to-day basis, right? So she was like, well, her mom is the one who got her hooked up at in the department as an intern, and she's getting paid too. So she was just like, I've been with my boyfriend for a year, and after I graduated and once I turned 18, recently I just moved in with him and his mom. So she left her home to move in with her boyfriend and his mom. I understand why the fuck she did that, but I'm listening to her and I'm trying to just hear her out completely, right? So she says to me, she says, like, my boyfriend's 18, I'm 18, and he spends a lot of time with his friends. And it's like, I spend time with my friends too, but most of the time I'm at the house, with his mom, and he's out, driving around downtown Houston. A lot of the times he'll drive out to Katy. They're like smoking weed and doing stuff like that. And she was like, that's not, she was just like, and it kind of reminded me of how my mom was. Like, my mom, we had rules and shit. Like, you just could not be outside. And like, my mom was that mother, she was not going to sleep until everybody was in the house. And my brother, pushing it maybe 11 o'clock at night, he would get home, like, when he was like older, right? But she was just like his mother had no rules and she lets him run amok. Like even when we was in school, he would come home at like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, going to school the next day, right? These new kids, this was it Gen X or Gen Z, whatever, right? So she said to me, she's like, I don't know, I'm just not happy. I just feel like I changed. I moved out from my mother to move in with him. I'm thinking that they had their own apartment first. I said, this is what I said to her. I said, "You moved out of your mother's house to move with your boyfriend and his mom?" Okay. I was like, first thing I had to figure out, because I had to figure out first if she's running from something. I'm like, "How's your relationship with your mom?" Because her mother is the one who got her the intern job at my job. She was like, "Oh, my relationship is great with my mother." She was like, I really love my boyfriend." And then, my other coworker, the reason why, like, I asked her if it was okay to kind of put her in it, because she's somebody who's been with her boyfriend. My coworker just turned 50 this year, and she's been with with her husband since they was like in 11th grade. But she said they broke up for a little while. Like when she went away to college, like they had to have that space or whatever, just so that they could like see the world or whatever. So she kind of got into it, but I don't want to like add that right now. But anyway, so I told her, I said, listen, you need to go to your mom. And she said, I spoke to my boyfriend several times about this. I tried to tell him, like, hey, you know, um, you said that you was going to be here or whatever. So before I tell you, before I told her to go speak to her mom, I said, let me be completely honest with you. You're 18 years old. I said, he want to be outside. And I said, and you should be doing whatever you want to do too. I said, I ain't trying to be funny, but you just graduated high school. It sound like y'all and this is what I told my niece. I told her, I said, y'all be trying to be in these relationships and you 18 years old. So serious. Why you living with him and his mother? Real talk. And I said, one thing that you want to go towards is I realized at a young age, don't avoid and I said, just because you move back home with your mom, don't mean that you got to break up, but you got to you got to show him that he can't just keep doing that to you, leaving you and you at home at his mother house until 3, 4 o'clock in the morning till he come home. You don't even know what he doing out there. First and foremost, like not saying that he even cheating, but she said she love him. She said he's really nice to her too, but he hangs out with her when she goes with her friends, but he don't ever bring her when he goes with his friends. And why would a girl want to hang out with all those guys anyway, right? But the point of it, I told her was, I said, I'm gonna give both of y'all grace. I think that you in it too deep. Honestly, you 18 years old, you should have never left your mom's house, to be honest with you. And I said, let me tell you something. My niece, and I know what it's like to be 18. When we turned 18, let me know how you felt. When we turned 18, we felt grown. You felt grown like you was grown. Like, listen, 90s, 80s, 90s babies, once we was growing up in that damn era, we felt grown anyway. We felt like we was adults navigating this shit. We was not adults, and you still need guidance. And one thing about my niece that scares me is that her mom is highly judgmental and she doesn't tell her things I feel like she should tell her. I say, you're going to get into some irreparable harm. And I said, I fear that that's going to happen to you by you being scared to talk to your mother. And she was like, well, I need to make mistakes. I said, but certain mistakes you can't come back from. Certain mistakes will change your life forever. You need to speak to your mom. But anyway, I told the girl, I said, your boyfriend is 18 years old. And I said, I said, the thing that you don't want to do, you don't want this man to change and then he end up resenting you. He 18, he supposed to be running with his friends. Come on, not all 18-year-olds. I said, your brain ain't even fully developed. I said, give yourself some grace. Go back home with your mother. This don't mean that it's a breakup with him, but just let him know that you're not seeing what you like. Go back home with your mother, let him deal with what he gonna deal with. If he makes those changes organically on his own, great. But I said, but you 18 years old. And this is what she said, which was so big. And I feel like so many people, I gave her so much credit for saying this to me because a lot of people avoid this. She said, I just feel like if we break up, it's gonna be like a death, right? Because guess what? When you 18 and you go through that breakup, it do feel like a death. And guess what? You make it through it. I remember my first relationship that I had when I broke up when I was like 18 years old, 18, 19. Oh, I had migraines for like 2, 3 days. It was bad. Like I couldn't, oh my God, it was bad. I was super stressed. But guess what? I was a person who went through it and through life, you're never ready for a breakup. But I think once you start going through them, and that's her first true boyfriend too. So yeah. But I just feel like this. I'm one of those people, I go towards the pain in life. I don't run away from anything. And it's funny that she said that too. She said that, he does all of these things where he hangs out so much, knowing that she's upset and he tries to come home late so they can't have a conversation about it. She was just like, he just avoids things, and that's just not her style. So, yeah, man, I just pretty much told her, I said, you can still be with your boyfriend, but I don't think that y'all should be living together. It's too much. And I said, I know you think your ass is grown because I felt like I was grown when I was 18 too. But I said, but you not grown. I said, you still need your mother. And I was like, you should speak to your mother and just be transparent to her and say, Mom, you know what? She said her mother don't even like her boyfriend. She said once she told her mom that she wanted to live with him, she kicked her out. She was like, once you leave, that's it. I said, your mother works here. She got you the job here. I said, see, you remind me of my niece in the sense where my niece be acting so scared of her mother. Let me tell you something, how I feel. And I don't know how you felt, but my mother is my mother. I tell my mother anything, like whether if I'm upset about something or whatever, people be scared to speak to their parents. I can not imagine a world where I am scared to talk to my mother. I tell my mother anything. I will tell her anything if I feel like, nah. I remember when I was in ninth grade and I was dealing with some grief or whatever. And I ended up telling my mom, and she put me in psychologist and with a psychologist. Like I always communicated like with my mom, like along the way. I always been like that. But some kids, they don't like speaking to their parents. I love my mom for that. But I hope that you have that type of relationship with your kids, and you, if you have children, you know, that you have that type of bond with them, that they'll come and speak to you. I said, speak to your mom. I said, and you don't even got to be nasty to your boyfriend. Give him grace. I'm telling her to give him grace too. I said, he's 18 years old. He just got out of high school. He want to run the streets, even though we know it could be dangerous. She don't want somebody who smokes weed like he do. She said he always carrying on with his friends. It's just so much. And she said it's not even that he runs to his friends to run away from the problems that they have. To talk about her to him about like, his issues of like being outside so much. She said he runs away so he can avoid her. I said, you don't got to be rude to him. I said, get that man grace. Tell him, like, you know what, babe? Both of us is so young. I'm wanting from you. It's like, I'm requesting of you something that probably like we should be older and maybe the expectation will be more real. Give his ass grace. Move out, go back to your mom house, figure out what you're gonna do, start college in the fall and move on and like, move with your life forward. Like, you know what I'm saying? Listen, breakups are gonna feel like a death. But guess what? When I'm going through a breakup, this is how you have to like make yourself think, right? I don't know. I just found out like with age and wisdom that you have to kind of like put this in your mind to help you to get through it. You want to know how I feel, and this might be fucked up. This might be but I'm telling you, you have to trick your mind in this way. Right? When you are dealing with a breakup or you're dealing with a loss of a friendship, you have to think that people have died in your family and you've made it through each and every one of those situations. And if I made it through that, I will make it through this. Oh, I can make it through a breakup. I know that. I can make it through a breakup. Listen, I'm not pretending to be happy. I ain't playing none of those games. I don't play that at all. If it's not working, it's not working. Like some people, because they don't want to feel that. Because let me tell you, that feeling of the breakup, you know that shit will end some people. That shit puts some people on drugs. Um, for me, I'll be transparent. When I broke up with somebody before, it did get me into this spell of drinking wine every night, right? And I was going to Aldi and getting like that damn Aldi wine. That shit was like cheap wine back then. But shit, I had just moved here back in 2016 and I wasn't making like I listen, I even when I felt like this. I don't know. I just got some shit with me. Even when I don't be making the most of my money, I still be managing and still be having shit. Like I made sure I had money every night to get me a bottle of wine. I had my weed and I would come home and self-medicate, smoke me like two big blunts back to back, and then have so two big glasses of wine and just be knocked out in that damn apartment. And Sienna Plantation when I used to live in that apartment. That was like my intro to Texas. So my intro was pain, and I was drinking wine like probably for like a few months straight, and then I got gout, and then I looked it up. I promise you, I never got gout again from 2016 because Nas actually spoke about that on his Kings album. He was just like, drinking all that wine and stuff, it causes gout. Like if you have that type of, trait or whatever, and that runs in my family with the males, right? So I've only got gout one time in my life. I had that one flare up and that shit, I never allowed it to ever come back again. Like I just treat my body right and I don't, drink excessively or whatever. But yeah, not to get too far away from the subject at hand, but I told her, I said, you 18 years old to the intern at my job. Your boyfriend's 18. You complaining about him out there running. I felt like, and let me know in the comments, do you think I gave her sound advice? You want this man to be home like he's 30 years old and married and already graduated from school and shit, and like he's just ready to be tied down. This boy 18 years old. And I understand you love him. I understand what he probably promised you, right? Both of y'all damn brain ain't even developed and you want this serious marriage relationship. And I was going to tell her this other thing today too, but I didn't say it. Maybe I'll tell her tomorrow. And I'll be like, do you know what comes with living with your boyfriend in and out? Are you ready to have kids? You said you want to, you said that you want to do either project management or you want to get to this doctorate level of psychology. Do you know, like living with your boyfriend, not saying you could get pregnant, not living with him too, but like, do you know what this will, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know. I hope that and she seemed really happy with what I told her. I was just like, Yeah, and don't run away from that pain of the breakup. I said, yo, you know what I learned from somebody when we was going through a breakup before? When we broke up, and this is like when I moved here to Houston, they leaned into their friends. I didn't even really, I had to make friends down here and do, whatever. But it's like people lean into their friends. It's like lean into your friends when you go through breakups. And I told her, I said, and he's not doing this to her though, but this is like for you, if you ever date a person who takes you away from your friends, and that's bad for one. But I don't think that you should ever come out of the fray with your friends, because that's who you're gonna lean into when you're going through the breakup and shit to make everything come, because you don't want to be fake. You don't want to be the type of person, because some people, they don't even take you away from your friends. You alienate yourself from your friends because you don't know what it's like to have nothing. So you stop speaking to all your friends, and then once you get, start going through some turbulence, you want to run back to your friends when shit ain't going right, and you want to, annoy the hell out of them and wear them out with all your bullshit. Nah, nah. Keep your friends close at all times so that way they can be able to see things. And yeah, but I told her, I was just like, yo, so I'm like, There's is no abusive relationship or anything. If you leave him, he's not going to try to hurt." She's like, "No." She's like, "He's really nice." I said, "Yeah, give him grace. He young. Do your thing. Let him do his thing. Whatever that means. Let him do his thing." I said, "Let him do his thing, whether if it's he just wants to be out." And I looked at her dead in her eyes. I said, "Whether if he wants to be with somebody else, let him do it. You young. You being mad serious in this shit, and you 18 years old? You just crossed the stage and graduated from damn high school? You living with this nigga and his mother in his house?" And she's not black, she's Mexican, because there ain't no black mother really going for no, I don't know. It is some black mothers who let people shack up like that, but she Mexican. But I'm really, I was really like, wow, she asked me out of nowhere. I didn't even know. Like she must like, because we always have these different conversations in my area about like a lot of stuff. And I think she might like, my communication style. But I told her, nah. Give his ass grace and give yourself grace. Y'all both 18. You think you don't think he want to be out there with his friends? This is exactly how I said it to her. He want to be outside. Come on. Come on. Anyway, potent pondering. I'm up out of here. Leave your comment below and let me know what you think if you feel as though I gave her sound advice in regards to this matter. You trying to be in this serious ass relationship and you fucking 18 years old, going off to college, and you talking about he hanging out with his friends and or whatever. He's 18. That's what people do at 18. He gonna be doing that for years to come. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, and I mentioned, I said my coworker, she's been with her husband since they started dating in 11th grade. But she said he wanted to get married right after high school, and she said she didn't want that. She was like, "I want to go off to college. I want to do my thing, and just kind of live life." She said she came back after college. Her husband, her boyfriend at the time, they ended up getting back together when she was like 22, 23 years old. They've been together ever since then. Ever since then, they got two kids. Her kids is so smart, like, yo, it's so crazy. My coworker, right, who works with me, it's like she don't even really gotta work. You know what I'm saying? She does, project management with me, but her husband, he's been working for AT&T. He's like a big wig over there. And like he's retiring. They both turned 50 this year. He's retiring at the end of the year. And she was like, yeah, he told me that, I don't even need to work like anymore. He'll have the benefit coverage and everything. And this is somebody that's the one benefit I feel like you have when you've been with somebody for so long, where it's just kind of like, it's like a real, like, not saying like marriages aren't real, but it's like it's almost like you was raised up with this person. So they knew each other since they was like 16, 17 years old, and now they both 50 years old, and he retiring. But my coworker who's in that situation, she said, "I think you need to go on and live your life." She was just like, and it's not to say that you and him won't get back together, but you need to, like, it's too serious. Like, you just got out of high school. Like, come on, you living with the nigga and his mother? I don't know. Is that some Mexican shit where they be living with the mother, be letting the boyfriend, the son bring in the girlfriend? Like, my mom would have never let nobody move in with us ever, ever. Listen, let me get up out of here because I want to get ready for bed. And I was supposed to make a video today, but let me tell you something. I'm moving from Houston soon, right? And I got this friend who I love dearly, and every night they call me to talk. And they don't realize this that I have a routine. Like today, I came home from work and I took a nap. I got home at like in the 6 o'clock hour, and I slept probably till like 8:30, right? And then I got up and I said, "Nope, you going to the gym." I was looking for every reason in my mind to be like, "Nope, you're not working out tonight." But I'm on this today is my 159th day stretch of, doing my thing with like making over 10,000, 15,000 steps a day. So I said, you got to go to the gym. So just get up and do it. So I got home at like 10:30, 8, almost 10:40. Then I made me some vegetables and stuff, talked to my mother for a little while. And then it's like one of my friends always calls me, and it's just like I be feeling bad for saying, but like, listen, let me tell you this, right? I'm really gonna end the video after this, right? I try to work so hard to the point where I keep most of the money that I make. So when I do YouTube videos and I make a video and say that I can make $1,000 to $2,000 a month, that's literally money that I take and I put like on my credit cards or whatever the case may be. But the more that I'm not making videos, I'm not getting my damn my free money. I look at that as free money. This is free money to me. Like when I come and I'm just upload videos or whatever, it's free money because it's like it's a bigger cost to it. Because it's like, okay, how much money did you spend on your credit card this month? You spent 1,200 or you spent whatever. Up, just throw this on it. Just like I got my money yesterday from YouTube. Up, throw that on my credit card. And it's just like it never happened. You understand? But if you keep calling me every night, it's like you keeping me from my bag. It's like, and I'm like, when I move back to New York, like we gonna have to stop this shit. Like I ain't saying that we ain't gonna be friends no more, but it's just like I don't know. Cause I don't like, cause listen, I start feeling crowded in because yeah, I do like to speak to my friend, like, and it's one of my friends who I speak to all the time, but it's like, listen, you keeping me away from my bag. Like, I got to get to the bag when it comes to you like certain shit. It's already what we on the 22nd. I think I only made like $600 for this month already. So I need to get to over 1,000 so I could spend more money. You know what I'm saying? So when that credit card bill come next month, I'm just dumping that money straight on it. So that's how you develop a strategy like where people don't understand where I'll be saying like I keep most of my money because if I do spend money on my credit cards, I take this money, like every action has a reaction. Coming on here and talking or making videos, it has to be a benefit to me. You understand? And people don't understand that though. It's like, oh, you're doing this for the money. You damn right I'm doing it for the money. You damn right I'm doing it for the money. I don't care what they tell you and how they hide it and make it seem like they want connection. Listen, let me tell you something. If you can do it, you can do it. But if you can do it and get paid, why not? Right? No, 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 no. Only thing I want to take out of my check is gas money. I don't got no car payment. Listen, I had a 72-month loan on my car payment, right? 72 months. I paid that car loan off in 50 months. So you can do it too. Paid that off in 50 months. So I don't have no car payment. Only bills that I got, I take my rent out of my paycheck and my little miscellaneous bills, right? And that's literally just a crumb off the money. So if you save most of the money and then you take the credit card money from the YouTube check, it's like you really fucking banking. So it's like I just got all this free shit. So I ordered all these clothes and stuff throughout the month, or get whatever sneakers I want, and then I work on the YouTube and I take the money and I dump it right on the credit card. Then I get my points on top of that. You got to be strategic when you need it. Oh, and pondering, never pandering. Listen, get in the comments. Let me know what you think about the debacle I talked about and all of that. I'm up out of here. Peace.